Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about The Flash, episode 416, titled Run, Iris, Run, which premiered Tuesday, March 13th, 2018 on the CW. I'm recording on the exact same night. It's pretty much 20 minutes after the episode is aired for me. So huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first. Then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. There's my other video reminders up on screen, so just to take a moment to look over those. I actually did not plan to do a video of this episode, but a lot of my previous questions and concerns were answered, so I really wanted to talk about all that. But I'll try to do this in 10 minutes, so let's start the clock and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, I don't really know how long it's been since the previous episode. I'm going to assume it's been the regular week. So I'll just leave it at that. The huge episode reminder, though, is the fact that we get the purple speedster, aka Iris, with super speed. The villain is, I guess you could call it the unintentional villain, and that is the form of Matthew, aka Melting Point or Melting Pot. But he has he's one of the best metas, and he has the ability of taking a person's DNA, kind of melting it down to its dark matter form, and then putting it into somebody else so that that same power can be displayed in that person. They explained it a little better than me for sure, but that was my understanding of it. But it definitely helped further my concerns about why it had to be DNA and that was being transferred, or instead of it just being powers being transferred. Pretty much my interpretation was that he could technically take the dark matter out of a person and just keep it for himself. He doesn't necessarily have to transfer it from one person to another. Which leads me to a question that I just thought of. If he's keeping all that dark matter inside of him, doesn't that affect him on some level as well? But anyways, moving on to episode breakdown. Two different storylines. The main one was Iris being a speedster, and the second one is Harry trying to create his own version of the thinking cap. So with the first storyline, again, Barry's powers get transferred because of Matthew. He gets some transferred into Iris. This was unintentional by Matthew, but because of this, Iris pretty much gets to see what life is like for Barry. She gets to combat some own personal issues of her own, but in this episode, we know that she's not able to phase or use the funneling arm tornado trick thing properly, so she doesn't know everything in Barry's arsenal of powers, but she is able to run on water so that she can create a tidal wave to stop the unintentional fire starting meta that Matthew accidentally created. So there's that. After everything is done, though, Matthew apologizes to Team Flash and returns Barry's powers to him, and then he is offered a chance to join the team so that they could have a chance to stop DeVoe, hoping that Matthew's ability to take away a person's power could be used against DeVoe to at least neutralize the meta-human advantage he has against them. So that's possible. The second storyline deals with Harry trying to create a thinking cap because he went back, found footage of the night of the particle accelerator explosion and how Clifford DeVoe had his own thinking cap on the night he was struck by lightning and had it magnified by the dark matter. So Harry wanted to try to recreate that, so at least on some level they had the thinking portions neutralized so that they were thinking on the same level as DeVoe. Lots of arguments, especially from Cisco, because he did not want Harry to become DeVoe in the sense that a raging lunatic. So instead, I think they used photon energy instead of dark matter. But Cisco did help Harry create the cap long enough so that it doesn't catch fire. And they did use it, which leads to the last moments of the episode, and it shows Harry using the thinking cap to find the names of the last two bus metas. It was kind of fast. I didn't quite get the names down. They'll probably be on screen right now, since by the time I edited this, there's bound to be a clip on YouTube that I could rewatch, so there's that. But tidbit-wise, though, guys, in this episode, Iris does explain why she quit her job as a journalist, and but though at the end of the episode, she does get back into it in the form of blogging about her experiences with the Flash. So there's that. Also, Cisco, like I mentioned before, shows great concern over Harry potentially turning into DeVoe if he had his intelligence boosted in the same way. We also get Ralph eventually connecting with Iris. He had kind of a resentment, I believe, towards her, how she's always claiming how he doesn't see her risking her life when she's always behind a desk, while every other meta on the team is always out in the field risking their lives. But he understands a bit more about Iris's time with the target on her back last year, and now with her being in Speedster and kind of other shoe on the other foot type of thing. So they do connect on that level. We see Barry struggling with losing his speed as well as his job. We also have Joe getting the idea of using Matthew's power to take away DeVoe's powers, as mentioned before. Cecile was mentioned. She wasn't shown on screen, though, but it has been mentioned that she has entered her third trimester, and her cravings have increased to the form that Barry's being sent off to these crazy places to get the food since he's a speedster. So there's that. So moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I think it has to be the thermocyclone, just because it did remind me of Firestorm, but I don't think the magnitude of that heat tornado thing was created by Firestorm before. So just the magnitude of it, especially from someone who was just turned into this fire starter, was surprising. So there's that. I kind of expected, like, they thought Iris just running around in circles around him to suck up the oxygen in her own air tunnel, but instead they went with the tidal wave, which I wasn't expecting. I actually thought a tidal wave might cause more damage to the city, but it seemed to be really directed, so that was a surprise there. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments. Now, if you saw my previous video with my talks about what the promo and the synopsis for this episode had me feeling, I had very mixed responses for myself about how to feel about this episode. I thought that the promo looked great. It was going to be a great one to see, but the synopsis and how they worded it had me leaving many concerns. But this episode really cleared those up for me, because one of my favorites is Iris herself. And that was because in this episode, I got to find out why she quit her job as a reporter. And so that was explained, as well as her reason why she became the Flash team leader, why she stayed as the Flash team leader once Barry came back from the Speed Force. It was just, those are a few questions I've had lingering throughout the season, but it only really fully became a problem that I didn't have answers for those when I saw the build up for this episode. So I really like that I got the answers for that. Also, the fact that I like the fact that Iris didn't know how to use Barry's other powers. Another issue I had was the fact that if Iris got Barry's speed, that she would have everything that he could do. And while yes, she could potentially do that, but I like the fact that she didn't have the knowledge of how to access her powers that way. So I really like that they showcased that, because it took years for Barry to get to that. I'd hate just in a few days that she was able to get to where it took him years to do. So I like that they did that right. Also, I like the fact that Iris needed to prove not only to herself that she was still fearless, but in a way she wanted to prove it to Ralph. Just because he's the newest member of the team, he doesn't know what she's been through the last 3 years, especially what she had been through last year with Savitar having a target on her back and him wanting to kill her. And then that had a way for Iris and Ralph to connect, because that's what Ralph is going through right now. So I really like that she took his words to heart and really got to think about it. Well, everyone says she didn't have to prove herself. I like that Iris acknowledged the fact that, well, for Ralph, who hasn't been with her, it would look like that she's claiming to be the same as Team Flash when she's sitting behind a desk. So I like that she kind of wanted to prove to Ralph that, and to herself, that she was still someone who would go in the field and do her part, type of thing. So I really like that. So there's that. Another favorite of mine, again, was addressed in the previous video I did, and it was the fact that we got to see a lot more of Caitlin in this episode. I really wish we got to see Killer Frost, but I like the fact that Caitlin was able to showcase herself as a doctor, not only in analyzing Iris and Barry's swapped situations, but also trying to figure out how to redo that and just trying to get the medical aspects of it. I really like that. Also, her trying to talk to Cisco and trying to get him to help Harry in a way that would help him instead of harm Harry, in a sense, if he wanted to do it on his own. So it was really great to see Caitlin doing more, since to me it looked like she's been a little a little absent lately. So there's that. And again, another favorite of mine, I did mention though through Iris, it was just the fact that Ralph got to connect with Iris. Them connecting on the fact that they are or have been targets on someone and that they fear for that, and then having their views change just on the fact that I have to fight through that fear, I have to still keep living type of thing, otherwise they won't. It was just great to see them connect on that level. And then a bonus favorite was just the Team Flash coming together to use what they can to help Iris be the speedster the city needed at the time, since Barry couldn't do it. So there is that. Top 3 peeve moments. The only peeve I really had was the fact that there was a fire going on in that condo complex, and Killer Frost was not called upon. Yes, it was mentioned that was the first go-to before Iris stepped up, saying that as a speedster she could do it. But like, it really irritated me that Killer Frost, someone whose powers are literally meant to counteract what was going on, was not called upon. I mean, for a first gig for Iris to not only save people from a burning building, but then to put out the fire, that's a lot to ask for a new speedster. So I would have probably, while yes, it did prove that while she tried, she failed at putting out the fire, and she needed to be saved by Cisco. I just felt it was a lost opportunity that they could have used Killer Frost to put out the fire while Iris used the speed that she knew how to use to save the people. Well, at least she got that part done. So there's that, and that's all I have to say about it. But moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode, the fact that Iris was the purple speedster. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know why she's purple, though. I mean, like, she showed that she had the purple streak long before she had the purple suit. So I'm wondering why that's the case. Because, you know, the blue streak that Zoom had shown was because of the Velocity 9 drug. For some reason, Flash and Reverse Flash have the opposite color streaks. So there's that. I'm pretty sure Jesse has the same color streaks as the Flash, while Wally has the same color streaks as the Reverse Flash, I believe. So I'm wondering why purple this time. So, and the last time we saw purple streaks was, I believe, the Speedster on Earth 19, I believe. Gypsy's Earth. I think so. So anyways, moving on to random questions very quickly. First one is the Flash website a random fan site that Iris is now going to start blogging on, or is it something that a site that she had put together and now she's going to start posting on it, or what's the deal there? I definitely like the fact that she's going to kind of report through her blogging, but I'm wondering if that was her site originally, or if she just found a site, credible site, and just decided I'll contribute that way. So there's that. Another question is, will Matthew, aka Melting Point or Melting Pot, will he get a suit? Will we actually see him again before his encounter with DeVoe? I actually like his new addition. It'll be great to see how they will be able to train him with his powers. But I can't wait to... I hope DeVoe doesn't get him. I really hope he doesn't get him or Ralph. But I want to learn more about Matthew, for sure. But last question. When will those Speed Force symbols or Barry's ramblings from the season premiere, when will they come back into play again? I know that's a random question, not to do with this episode, but again, we haven't seen it in a while, or we haven't heard it brought up in quite some time. So I'm wondering when we're going to see that again, since again, we're on episode 16 of 23. So there's that. So moving on to predictions very quickly, based off the promo for 417, it looks like it's returning April 10th. So that's pretty much a month away. So I guess we're going to be starting that March Madness stuff again. So there's that. But the promo shows that a meta with like bright teal hair is making people float. The latest victim being the Flash. And it looks like Ralph is also back in the field as well. Because it's a month away, there is no synopsis available for 417. So I'll just leave it at that. But what did you guys think of the episode? Love to hear about it in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check that out. Also, if you want to see my WordPress account, the link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected there, but it's still a work in progress, but it's more organized, so I hope you check that out as well. So guys, that's about it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next time to see what they say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.